Hi guys, so it's Fiza Ismail reporting live all the way from Perth, Australia, right? So good afternoon from my end and good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any in India. So a bit of introduction about me. I am a Malaysian-born lady and I came to Perth, Australia 14 years ago at the age of 18 and I pursued my degree in accounting and finance at the University of Western Australia. And once I graduated, I got a job with the state government as an auditor. So for 6 years and a half, I was working in the private sector, auditing the companies and a couple of nonprofit organizations as well. And throughout my career life, I have also been an active mentor for the certified practice accountant body. So mingling a lot with young professional businesses, graduates in terms of their career path as well. And last year, I literally launched my own business and have been sort of like throwing and immersing myself in the world of business and still learning each day. There's a lot of hurdles, there's a lot of challenges. And I guess, having that background of finance and human behavior seems to blend in pretty well. So welcome on board and thank you for tuning in with me today. And the topic for today is how finance can help you understand human behavior. So originally when I threw in the topic, it was really the marriage between finance and human behavior and how it literally blends together, right? So this book of like psychology of financial decision making, how our buying and spending activities are all driven by emotions. And we tend to rationalize logically a bit later on. And just have a ponder about that statement for a bit. How purchasing, spending are driven highly by emotions, and we rationalize it by logic later on. So example, right? I've been working very hard. I've had a very stressful week at work, meetings, deadlines, and at the end of the day, I'm literally tired. So I take myself to the shops and, like just browsing around, window shopping, right? And there it is, this one pair of shoes. I take the shoes, I try it on. Feels good, looks good. Check out the price at the back. Original price $299. But there's a sale, 50% off. So it came down to $149. Guess what? The salesperson comes, oh madam, today is very special. There's 30% on top of that 50% discount. Even better, so I take the shoes, paid it, and go home. Question is, do I need the shoe or do I want the shoe? Isn't it interesting that my emotions of having that stressful week and wanting to reward myself was driven by emotions, driven by human behaviors, and I rationalized it by logically saying, oh, you know what? I scored a bargain from $299, it came down to $149, and then it came down again 30%. So that's how we as human beings, work well with finance, right? So I'll go through the list of questions and hop on, and you're more than welcome to ask me other questions later on. So number one, Shweta Sharma. What is different about understanding human behavior through finance? So, like how when I say, hey, I'm an accountant, or hey, I'm a financial advisor, people have this stereotype and mentality that we're so rigid, we're so structured, we're very analytical, we're very risk adverse, we're literally the boring people in the room to have conversation with, right? It's like that stereotype mentality. So understanding human behavior, be it your clients, be it having a conversation with your friends or your partner or your family, right? It's more like a human to human relationship. It's a heart to heart conversation. So the more that you can actually have a very empathetic conversation, it literally opens a whole new ball game. It's not looking through the books with a set pair of eyes, right? So I hope it answers your question, Shweta. Mansi, is it true that financial numbers can reveal one's identity or psyche? Numbers don't lie. I remember like when I was auditing a lot of companies, right? How their books are organized reflects the personality of the personnel or the directors. How the numbers, like fluctuate, it actually shows those particular, directors or the marketing people or whoever is the decision maker of the business, how big of their risk appetite is. And the more that you can actually understand their human behavior, the more that you can understand, like what is their scale of 0 to 10, 10 being like, what, I'm a risk taker, or like 0 to 1, I'm like, I don't like risk, I don't like changes. The more that you understand about them, the easier that you can actually communicate, and the better sort of like added value that you can give to your clients. Anjali Senapati, why do I need to understand the relationship between behavior and finance for a successful career? One secret. Us finance experts, us accountants or financial advisors, whatever it is, right? We are the expert. We are the backbone of the business. So if someone comes to me, they have this perception that, I know what I'm talking about, and they want to explore the options on how can I make their life better? How can I move their business operation one step ahead? How can I scale their business, right? What other opportunities are there, for them to actually take on board, right? So you are really the backbone of the business. So instead of taking like, a one set standard that fits all, the more you understand the industry that your clients are operating in, the behaviors, their risk appetite, what are they seeking in love in life, right? In their business, the more it actually adds a different. Yeah. Ujwala, is this way of understanding human behavior more beneficial for women working in the field of finance? Do you know what? Who is the decision maker? At home, organizing parties, planning a holiday, buying the groceries? Who is it? It's us women, right? So we are literally the key component of driving the force, right? So use it to your advantage. Most often, like us females are blessed with having, high intuition, very empathetic, very, very in tune. It's like when you attend an event or a social gathering, the moment someone walks in the door, without even having a conversation or knowing who they are, we already have this perceived, impression. Oh, you know what? I don't feel really good. There's something about her or him that doesn't sit well with me. That's our intuition talking. So use it to your own advantage because you have it already in here. And Manaswati, as a financial analyst, what should I keep in mind when I am trying to understand a person's behavior whose firm I'm investing in? So let's say like you have this 100 grand, right? Or 50 grand or 10,000. And that's literally like your money. And when you're having a conversation with a particular company that you want to invest in, be very, very mindful to the conversation that you're having with them. If they're literally asking you and probing you with a lot of questions, it means that they are literally trying to serve you at the best interest. But if you're just sitting there for like literally 5 minutes and then they come out with a package, then I call it a red flag system, and you should definitely run away. Because the more you ask questions, the more you're actually building trust, you're building rapport, you're building relationship, and that gives you assurance and integrity. So look for, like have that conversation, like in business, the more that, like, hey, tell me about yourself, how long have you been doing it? Why are you so passionate about this? So the more that I'm trying to understand you as a human being, it actually builds that relationship between you and I. Likita, how accurate will I be able to decipher a person's behavior through finance? I like that question. Again, so let's say like you're sitting down with your client, right? And you design a proposal. Okay, that's the end goal, that's the deadline, and these are the action steps to get us there. And then you ask the question to your client, is that achievable? Can we do it? Are you on board? Are you excited? And you sit there and your client has this, look on their face like, okay, this is exciting, we'll get there. Do you get what I mean? So you use human behavior to literally see if their language, what they're literally saying, actually matches the body language. So you look out for the subtle human behavior. If I'm literally saying yes, but my body is saying no, then for sure, do you know what? Your client is going to walk away, put that proposal, put that, action plan in the drawer and never even execute it. So if you pick up those, incongruency, then just say, hey, you know what? I'm picking up, I'm sensing this energy that, something's missing here. How about we explore that conversation further? Tell me, how can I actually help you? Should we break it down a bit more? Because sometimes, people are literally overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. So you as a finance person, the finance expert, hold their hands and guide them through that journey. So it comes down again to human behavior. Anuba, how much information about a person will I need to understand their behavior through finance? My secret recipe is ask question. Ask a lot of questions, clarify, just to make sure that we're on the same page. This is what I'm hearing. Is it right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is no question that is stupid question. The only stupid question is assumptions and our own expectations. Sometimes what I say doesn't land well in your own, sort of like perception. So again, ask questions, clarify. Have a conversation with them. Tell me your vision. Tell me your why. Why is this really important for you? What are you expecting to get out of this? And believe it or not, it will open up a whole new conversation that sometimes information they don't sort of like come out easily until like the number 9 or number 10 question, because like it's very what's it called, scary sometimes, like the first couple of questions, like people are very guarded. They're like, oh, why is this person asking questions? Like, I've never been asked these kind of questions, but later on, like once they ease in, like kid you not, like the golden nugget are in those questions. So keep on asking questions. So Mr. Pakar, How will this kind of a method help me in a professional setting like my workplace? If you're a person who's curious, if you're a person who constantly asks questions, you're definitely going to be the person that stands out. When you genuinely ask people questions, you're literally building interest, you know? And some questions open up possibilities. Some questions opens up, blind spots that the client or even you that haven't thought of, right? And the more that you ask, you build rapport, you build trust, you build relationship. So put yourself in your client's shoe. Imagine like someone comes to you and I'm like, hey, have you been? Tell me what's been happening in your life before, or you've literally picked up a new hobby. Tell me how's the experience. What did you feel? Or tell me about those holidays. How do you feel when someone literally asks you those questions? It just feels that you're very, very important. It feels like you've been heard of, right? So it goes the same to your clients. Ask them questions. And if you are the person who do very, very different things, from your other colleagues, you're definitely going to be seen, you're going to be heard, and you're going to go a long, long way. Manikya, is there any course to learn about understanding human behavior through finance in depth? One of my favorite tools, I don't know if you've heard, is like the DISC profiling. So it talks about like human behaviors, how there's two categories in the DISC profiling, the dominance and the influencer. Their decision making are very, very driven by emotions. They act fast, they're always thinking about the big picture. So it means like when you're having a conversation with them, you got to be fast and furious. There's no point like you talking them through about the processes, the systems, because that's going to bore them to death, right? And that's the other two categories, the conservative, consistent, and steadiness. They like to do a lot of research, like information, facts gathering. And when you understand their behaviors, if you understand and you pick up their language and you communicate back the language to them, it's gonna make the relationship and the process with them much, much easier because you're putting yourself in their shoes. Yeah, so DISC profiling is one good thing. I am a very, very big fan of emotional intelligence. I think emotional intelligence can be used in a very, very big spectrum in the workplace, at home, in your relationship as well. So it's about knowing your own emotions and understanding other emotions, other people's emotions as well, like being empathetic when people tell them your issues, their issues or their challenges and their struggles. You know how to actually communicate back to them, right? So that's one of my favorite. And also a big thing in our industry, finance, accounting, advisory, consultancy. I think we have a lot of technical jargons that we use, and sometimes we are literally guilty, like we assume other people understand what it means, and you have this blur look from them. They just sit there nodding their head, but in fact they go away not understanding, not having a clue what you've actually advised them on. So clear language, make it simple, make it easy for people to understand, right? And if you have to construct a story to actually make that point across easier to understand, then tell them a story, right? So avoid, jargons like capital gains, credits, debits. People don't understand. So try to make it as easy as possible. What else here? So if you would like to connect with me, please do so on LinkedIn under Fiza Ismail. I would really appreciate it if you can actually send me one comment on what is your biggest takeaway from today's live event, and also all feedbacks, constructive feedbacks are welcome as well. I would love to connect with you all the way from Australia to India. And I'm just going to leave you with 3 tips, right? Number 1, how can I serve my client to the best of their ability? Always be curious. Which leads on to the second point. Ask a lot of questions. Be genuinely interested in your clients. Be genuinely interested with the person that you're having a conversation with. Listen, right? Just listen to them. And yeah, the third one, obviously, sorry, I was jumping ahead. Listen, because that literally builds rapport, that builds trust. And yeah, look for the unsubtle messages, the words that's really left unspoken. Sometimes people say, I want this, but then the body language doesn't reflect that. Or they can say, hey, I want to have 20,000 dollars in my bank savings by end of the year, but their actions, their behaviors does not reflect that. So you have to ask the right question. Okay, what are the small action steps, the baby steps that you can do today to make that 20,000 goal achievable in the future? I'm not sure what else do I need to cover. But yeah, to wrap it up, I think you guys are in a good advantage. Knowing finance, knowing numbers goes a long way. Finance is very transferable, so it's cross-cultural, cross-country. You can use it. You don't really have to go far. Like managing your own groceries budget at home, that's a win-win situation. You can literally teach your kids from small how to spend money, how to save money, how to actually value money, right? You can use it in corporate world, obviously, and that can also be used for business purposes. My experience, like knowing numbers and using it in my business, it actually helps me with my budgeting, my costing when I'm literally doing events, and comparing it with my other business colleagues out there. They don't know how to actually calculate money. They don't know how to, okay, here's my break-even cost. Here's my profit, my gross profit or my net profit, right? So we are at the best place to actually understand numbers. So if you incorporate human behaviors on top of your finance, it's a win-win situation as well. So have a very blessed day ahead, ladies and guys, if there's any. Stay tuned, and I look forward to connecting with you on LinkedIn very soon. Bye bye.